Poso left, so he is going to be looked at, and have not no information on him yet. Um, we'll find out later today on him. Anderson, same situation. Find out more on him today. Being Monday, we had him get a look further at him today. And then who else wasn't out there? Maintenance days for Samuelson. Hinestroza's has a family matter. And then Eakin was a day-to-day.
Has Eakin been fighting through that? Because he hasn't played.
Yeah, he this was he was ill today, so it wasn't due to the injury. He probably would have skated, but kept him off.
Do you know what happened
Eakin.
Do you know what happened to Kyle? Like his skate got in a rut or something?
It looked like that, Bill, but I don't know exactly what happened. But yeah, it was obviously in the middle of one of the drills. How he turned, I don't know. If you asked if he got caught in a rut. It was when he turned, so I don't know if he got caught in a rut or not. That's I guess what I should say. But it was when he made a turn. So.
You have a similar week kind of to last week. I mean, how are you going to approach the next couple days? No game till Thursday.
Yeah, they had yesterday off. We will give them tomorrow off as well. I felt today the practice intensity and focus was great. Enthusiasm was great. Energy was great. So tomorrow we have them off. I think our guys are hungry for the games, and I think that prepares us best for those games. We just played so much hockey that, you have 4 days in between games. There's no way you could practice 4 days. I think that's tough on the psyche and everything else. And I think even 3 practices is too much with the number of games they played. So the rest of a day off and then a practice, and then the rest of a day off and then a practice, I think is the best scenario to prepare these guys for the last 2 games, both physically and psychologically. I think they had a lot of energy and excitement to skating today, which is always nice to see as a coach. You go into practice this time of year, and with guys sore and everything else, and the weather turning, and you're trying to figure, okay, what's practice going to be like? And now that we finished, I'm pretty happy with the way it was. Thought the guys were pretty on point and very enthusiastic about being so. We talk a lot in the last couple months about them identifying with. We talk about our culture all year long, and that showed us that it was strong out there to me, and identifying with how we want to play and practicing hard to that objective. Playing to get to the point where we can play the way we want to play, and they were great in practice today in that regard.
From a development standpoint, guys like Paterka, Quinn, and Murray, they've been playing in the playoffs for 2-3 weeks now. Their production has gone down significantly, but is that a good thing for them to go through all this and understand that it's going to be tougher with these playoff type situations to get your production and those types of things? So, I mean, is that? I know you would like them to produce, but it's not the end of the world, is it? With the experience they're gaining.
No, I think it's great experience for them. Obviously, we want them to win. We want them to produce. But at the end of the day, it's objective number one is development, and facing adversity and challenges and having to deal with them is why the American League exists. It's to help the players learn to battle and deal and fight through adversity and adverse situations. And they've been in one, and they're still in one. And I don't worry about those 2 players, specifically Paterka and Quinn, scoring. Don't worry about it at all. That's the last thing on my mind. It's in the long run, the battles they've got to go through to meet that objective is great for them. It's going to make them better. And what I watched yesterday, they haven't scored. It could be just they've had chances. I think Quinter might have hit the post a couple times. But they just as easily or just as they haven't scored, they just as easily could have had goals in the span you're speaking of, because they did generate offense. They just didn't score.
But has it been tougher on them because of the competition of?
Yeah, I think the intensity is ramped up as it would in any season. But I'm not there every day. But I think, progressively the seasons get tougher, especially when you add in the grind factor. There's a wear down factor, and you got to fight through it, and you got to get up and get after it with bumps and bruises and soreness and less rest. They bust. They played at home. They bust. They move around. I think they were on the road, home, and on the road, and that's not easy travel. You're coming back home at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and playing the next day, and then you get on a bus and arriving at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and playing the next afternoon, the way their schedule was this week. So, are you operating at, a proficient level? Your work to rest ratio is not there, so you're not going to be sharp. And as I've said many times, as young guys, a really, really big thing for young players is to learn how to play and be effective even when you don't have your mojo, when you don't feel good. And we've talked about that even with Victor Olofsson's injury. He's 30 games, he can't shoot a puck, and he's playing in the NHL. Well, it helped him figure out other ways to be productive or become a better hockey player, and we're seeing the benefit of that for Victor Olofsson. He's more effective 5-on-5 now, probably because he had to fight through that injury being adversity. It pushed him to become a better player in other ways and focus on things that he otherwise wouldn't have had to focus on. So in this case with Quinn and Peterka, this is great.
Don, what's the lesson your guys here are learning? They're pushing through for a lot of personal milestones and stats, but they're doing it in the context of the game and still winning games. And you look at what Skinner's doing, Thompson pushing to 40 goals. It's not becoming all, I'm trying to get my numbers. They're still playing the game and producing for the team.
Yeah, there's no selfishness, and I think people get selfish when they fear there's not enough for them. And we want to create a culture where you don't fear whether there's not enough for you. There is enough for you, and there's more for you if we get this whole thing going right. If the team is better, there's going to be more for you. And I don't think that's anything conscious. I think that's all subliminal. That's all subconscious, and it's a feel. And I see that with our guys. It's what we wanted to do as an objective. Get to that, create a culture of, selflessness in the sense you're working for your team and teammates, and you're happy for your team and teammates. And, you see Owen Power score his first goal, and immediately Skinner's in the net digging the puck out immediately. Skinny gets jumped by a guy the other night, and immediately Tomer jumps in there, and so does three other guys. And it's instinctive now that you see how quick they respond to the team and teammates. And it's same thing with the accolades. They know they're not worried about their next goal or their next reward individually, because they know it's going to come. There's a comfort and a calm within that, and I think that's what these guys have built, what we've been able to build here. So, I think when you think of, anybody reaching career milestones, I think they feel that they can, and we do as coaches. I hope they get this from us. There's more. Like, you can do more. Even when Tage hit his 30th, him and I had a talk, and I know you're going to score more. You know you're going to score more. So we can celebrate this, but let's onward and upward. Let's go. There's still more for us, and I think that's the real catch. I think there's a lot of career highs established this year, but I also feel that these are guys that feel that, okay, this might be a career high, but there's a lot more for me in the future, and that's a great energy to have and be around.
Don, how do you balance that offensive success down the stretch, especially the last few weeks, with knowing the season's cut short? Does it make it sting more, or how do you use that culture to bring motivation?
Yeah, there's no sting. Nothing stings, because it's all about progress. It's all about getting better, and so I think we've talked about it during the year. There is no negative. I mean, bring it on, because it's only going to make us better. It's going to show us what we need to work on. It's going to show us how we can get better. We'll figure it out, and we've been confident from day one in saying that, and within that locker room, we'll figure it out. Give us your best game. We went into a stretch of games against top teams in the league, and our guys were excited for that because they knew at the end of the day it's going to make us better. It's not going to make us worse. And I credit our guys for that. And so, there's no sting to the end, to the season ending. There's continual excitement for what lies ahead. And I think, what lies ahead immediate is the next game or two. And then an off season, and I know these guys have targets in the off season. I just know it. I see it. They're looking ahead and saying, you know what? It might be a bummer that the season ends, but I know I'm going to be better in September with the training I'm going to do in the off season. And I can see it and I can feel it. I've been around players long enough to know that group has that psyche, mentality, and that's nice.
We talk about Tage's goal scoring so much, but the other aspect of this game, the playmaking has gone to another level. I talk about how his vision changed when he went to center, but what else has helped him reach another level as just a playmaker?
I think we've helped him, and if there's anything, I guess that we helped him. I would hope we helped him gain a calm and a confidence, and he's playing with that. It looks like he's gained a calm and confidence. I would like to think we were part of that as a coaching staff and organization, more than just the coaches, and just saying, hey, we have this confidence in you. Just go play. We're working through that process with a guy like Peyton Krebs or other guys. We worked through it with Darlene, and now he is he's not forcing things. When you're not forcing things, you're able to read plays better. A lot of times you pick up a puck as a young guy or a guy without a lot of much experience, and you're almost trying to prove your skill set. And so you force a play, you press a play. I want to make a play here. And Tage is at a point now where he's like, I don't have to make a play here. If there's a play to be made, I am going to make it. And I'm going to extend the possession long enough to see if that might open up or that might open up. So he's actually seeing layers of options, not the only option that he wanted, per se. And he has enough skill to keep the puck and keep the opponent at bay, and that's what we're seeing him do. He's using his size and his skill not to necessarily attack a guy, but to buy himself the time to recognize what options may be opening. And all great players seem to do that better than the next tier. And he's moved himself into that category where he buys himself time and space, creates time and space to wait for defensemen to flinch or hesitate, back off, and you see him executing a lot in that realm.
And as far as his pursuit of 40 goals, like you say, guys aren't getting caught up in numbers, but do you think that would be, if he was able to get that would be something
that'd be great.
Share it?
Yeah, it'd be great. I think the whole team would be happy. I'd be happy for him, no question. And there's no question that I can tell you right now, if we have a situation where there's an empty net on the other end, and I'm on the bench, I'm like, wow, why wouldn't I get him out there? Give him. I mean, he's earned it. He's worked for it. It'd be nice to give him that, and he's defensively responsible. If he wasn't defensively responsible, I would think otherwise. But no, those things go through my head, is what I'm saying. And he's put the work in. I think the teammates would love that for him. So I think that would be all good. But we still have to play the game and focus on the game, and then those things take care of themselves. And I believe the guys are to that point. They know if they take care of their business, those rewards of goals and more goals follow. And that's what I like about our group right now. They're on task, pretty focused and committed to that.
And you did that Saturday. I mean, he's responsible, but he was out there when that was empty.
Yeah.
But you were thinking that, right?
Yeah, it did cross my mind, Mike. Don't tell anybody that, but yeah, it did cross my mind. So yeah, he's like I said, if those you want as a coach, when you want to see your guys get individual accolades too. I can tell you that right now. I love it when our guys get the individual accolades, and this is a group that shares in that there's that selflessness within this group that's great. Dahl's Dulles is an NHL All-Star. He went to the NHL All-Star. I mean, he doesn't walk in that locker room with any NHL All-Star swagger. He's a teammate and a friend like everybody else in that locker room, and that's pretty neat to see as a coach. So when you see your guys get rewarded or awarded for things, it is nice knowing who these guys are as people. So it's fun.